That's what I do. I drink and I know things.
Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk. Rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
Turn it up.
Weekend music and I won't pass the ox height. Weekend music and I won't pass the ox height. Sweet home Alabama, where sky was blue. Sweet home Alabama.
Okay, somebody tell me how this chick, Anastasia J. Casey, wrote a book about this Charlie Kirk thing and posted it on September 9th. Tell me how that's there, the day before.
This right there behind me is a mural in honor of Charlie Kirk. This could be the first mural in his honor in the world, and it's here in Israel.
Charlie Kirk knew that, but he decided to, Christ-like, put it all on the line. And man, like watching that Ukrainian woman bleed to death and nobody help her. And then watching Charlie get hit by that high-powered rifle in the neck was such a blast wave, it makes his whole shirt go crazy. So I thought it was hitting the chest. I'm just like, damn, that's a man right there, man. That's a fucking man right there.
But I was super excited to see you waking up to what power Israel has over our country. And there was nobody that was going to make a bigger impact than Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk had the voice of the American youth, and he talked about any revolution, any type of regime change operation that our government's in. The most important part of that operation is the youth, and nobody had an ear of the youth more than Charlie Kirk.
Political radicalism needs a catalyst. Political radicalism does not come out of peace, prosperity, rising wages, stable families, church attendance, and happy people.
To effectively create change in the world we desire. And Side Prop will argue that at times there is simply nothing else that can be required other than violent retaliation. And this is a view I wholeheartedly agree with. This view, the view that some institutions are too broken, too regressive, too oppressive to be reformed. Like cancers of our society, they must and they should be taken down by any means necessary.
So any time a university has roughly over 30,000 students, you're looking at least over 15, if not 1,800 cameras. And then I go, well, how about Utah? Well, Utah Valley University is one of the only ones where I couldn't get an accurate number of cameras, but they have 45,000 students. So if you have a university that has 45,000 students, you would think that you would have roughly over 2,000.
It's just the absurdity of it, some of the internet rumors that somehow Israel is behind the Charlie Kirk murder. And, I don't believe it for 1 second, but I want you to, make a statement. It's so absurd.
That's insane. That's insane. Israel also changes the orbit of the moon. Israel pushes the sun. I mean, the whole thing is, it's not only insane, I think it's so absurd, so stupid, so ridiculous.
But it is true, the Anti-Defamation League was part and parcel with Black Lives Matter.
It's still up to us. I saw a lot of rumors online today. I was made aware of this by my team. That I canceled some sort of college tour. That's bullshit. I saw those rumors. They are false. I will be coming to college campuses, many of them this year. So will we all, I am sure. Because we're Americans, and we're not going to be deterred. Charlie's voice is not silent. We're gonna pick up that blood-stained microphone where Charlie left it.
You mean to tell me that we're supposed to believe that this kid was allegedly using Discord and there was this big conspiracy, but really there was no conspiracy, and now the conspiracy is over?
I was standing from probably the third row in the bottom. I saw hit, I heard the shot ring out, I looked to my left, and then I looked over to my right. I saw him slump over in his chair forward. He slumped over. He had blood coming from the left side of his neck.
Okay, so we definitely have a second gunman on that campus.
It's been so unfair. They were coming after you after Turning Point for, among other things, that you had Dave Smith there. Dave Smith isn't allowed to criticize Israel. You had both sides. The Israeli side was overrepresented.
Though. No, you're not allowed to. It's even worse than that. Again, I just want to repeat for the 5th time. I love Israel. I want Israel to win. But my moral character is now being put into question, Megan.
Release the CCTV footage. Release the Turning Point footage that the gentleman took from the campus.
It's kind of hard for gay conservatives because there's not a lot of us. So, like, what do you have to say to other gay people who need to realize, like, they do have a choice?
Yeah, first of all, welcome to the conservative movement.
The weapon you're looking at here on the screen is called a cell phone pistol. Was this pistol used to assassinate Charlie Kirk at close range?
But listen to this. Tucker Carlson is completely correct by saying this, that the philosophical foundation of anti-whiteness has been largely financed by Jewish donors in the country.
Some of the billionaires look at themselves. There's two categories that I want to mention that we haven't. They look at themselves as masters of the universe, and these are usually tech people. This is Larry Page. This is Sergey Brin. This is Mark Zuckerberg.
I get those guys.
Okay? That, for them, they really think they can reconfigure society through AI, technocracy.
What are the odds that George Zinn, the pastor that was arrested at the Charlie Kirk assassination, also saw 9/11, he saw the planes fly into the buildings and called that in and reported it. And he also called in a fake terrorist attack at the Boston Marathon bombing. And just so happened to get arrested at Charlie Kirk's event.
But I think some questions need to be asked. Was there a stand down order? Was there a stand down order? 6 hours? I don't believe it.
It's cultural swine, bitch. Now where's the blow?
All right. What's up? Finally getting to those days where we can start developing some theories about all the bullshit that's going on. You know, it's usually pretty traumatic. First couple of days, you don't want to make any claims about anything. You don't want to assume anything that might piss off, you know. Well, you don't want to piss off the trannies by assuming anything, because then maybe they'll just shoot something else up. And you don't want to piss off Israel because maybe they'll just use their assassination wing of their intelligence to carry out another one. But there's a lot of shit going on with all this. And obviously I'm talking about the Charlie Kirk assassination and what happened in Utah. And there's a lot of bizarre and strange things that are surrounding this whole situation. I mean, obviously, I'm pretty sure everyone saw that they arrested the perpetrator, which they are telling us, you know, Kash Patel is telling us, who's a fucking cross-eyed retard and knows nothing. So I wouldn't listen to a goddamn thing that guy says, given that they apprehended and detained 2 people that turned out to be not the right people. And then so they have the third. And this comes from Kash Patel, the fucking cross-eyed Indian retard that has no experience in this area of work, I don't think, given the job he's running. And he's telling us, while he's, you know, in New York eating at a fancy restaurant 2 hours after the assassination, he's telling us that it's this Tyler Robinson kid. And I don't know if anyone, I mean, everyone probably felt pretty fucking horrible that day, you know. So horrible that, like, you know, you're kind of sick to your stomach, and you don't really want to, I mean, you're with people. We don't know him personally, Charlie Kirk, but everyone was kind of affected that day. But Kash Patel was out in New York eating at a fancy restaurant just 2 hours after the situation happened. And he couldn't, you know, he just had to get to his smelly fucking curry before he, you know, started to actually do any investigations into what actually happened. So, Tyler Robinson. All right, maybe he's the shooter. I don't know. He seems very like Lee Harvey Oswald to me. Patsy, like this seems like it's got Patsy written all over it. And people were saying, oh, he's a right wing, essentially radical, is what people were first saying about him, given that's what his family kind of identifies with. And from like old pictures, people were assuming he's right wing. And then you find out that, there's a trans angle to this whole situation. Tyler Robinson was apparently living with his partner, who was a dude. They were butt fucking each other, but apparently this dude is transitioning into a female, so there would be another hole for Tyler Robinson to, she'll have to visit him in jail. Which I'm sure if Tyler Robinson's liking booty hole play, I'm sure he'll love fucking jail. But all jokes aside, Tyler Robinson's dating a transgender or a male that's transitioning to a female who's also, I think, a furry. And I believe he was maybe involved with that person. I don't know how he went from right wing before entering college with a conservative family, probably because he was terminally online and basically only in chat rooms and other, platforms like that, like Discord or whatnot, just becoming radicalized by these radical groups like the LGBTQ AB 9745 group, just that whole radical community who are violent people. I will tell you, the transgender community are some of the most violent goblin creatures I've ever fucking witnessed. They're a death cult. They hate children. That's why they always shoot up children's places, because they can't have their own. And, well, if they can't have their own kids, they'll come for yours. And they're just very violent individuals, because you'd be retarded to think that they don't understand that they cannot be the opposite sex. That's not, everyone knows that. Everyone knows that's an objective fact. Whether you want to say it or not, that's up to you. If you want to lie to yourself, go for it. But once these people reach certain ages where they understand objective truth and understand what their situation is, they realize their whole fucking identity and self is built on lies. And finally, people are starting to speak out publicly, both left and right, regarding this community that is literally a bunch of fucking psychotic, mentally ill people who have built identities built on lies. They've built their identities on lies. So that foundation is already fucked up. And once they get to that age where, you're mature and you can understand objective truth, you realize you're a fucking retard that chopped off your dick or tits. And they get violent because, your whole fucking world comes crumbling down when when people start just saying what's actually true. Because people have been telling them and confirming what they're believing, but what they're believing is a fucking fairy tale. So that's why these people are violent for many reasons. So that's one reason, that their whole fucking identity and self is built on lies, which are now becoming more publicly aware and more publicly acknowledged. And so realizing that, you have no true identity or personality or self because you've built one on lies, one way to act out is to be violent, because that's a fucking shitty situation to be in, to realize you're just, yeah, just think of that. Think about literally saying you're a fucking dog, and then you turn 18 or you start becoming more mature and you're like, I know I can't be a dog, but this is what I've built myself up to be. So that's one reason. That no sense of self, resulting in, violent behavior, acting out, which is mixed with hormones and, things like this, and becoming, just sterilizing these individuals, it's going to create some type of negative outcome. I don't think it's ever going to be positive in any way, shape, or form. Okay. But yeah, long story short, the trans community is disgusting, vile, mentally ill, and violent. And they do act out. And we've seen them act out. But in this particular situation, this guy was dating one or fucking one and living with one of the transgender individuals who I think was cooperating with the police and FBI when they brought her in for questioning, or him. But Tyler Robinson, was not actually transgender. So I mean, it stems maybe from that ideology that radicalized him online. If he was terminally online and only communicating with people online, which is usually a bunch of these groups. Now, he could have shot him. Yes, I agree. But he's already pleading not guilty, saying he's not the one who shot Kirk. He's not being very cooperative. His dad's the one that turned him in, which is, I don't know, odd. I guess he drove for about 4 hours after he assassinated Charlie Kirk back to his house, where his dad was able to kind of detain him and then turn him in. His dad's also a former police chief. He might have other connections to military. I don't know. There's some weird things surrounding him as well. But as far as Tyler Robinson goes, regarding if he's the shooter or not, it doesn't make any sense. So it makes sense that someone could have shot from that area he was at, even though there's other theories about where maybe the shot came from, which I'll talk about in a second. But yeah, someone could have definitely shot from where he was at. Now, you would have had to have been a great shot, which we know that he grew up shooting guns and was trained in it. Not like an expert, but trained. I mean, if you can hit that shot with a good knowledge and, a good background in shooting guns. Now, the thing is, they're saying it was a 30-06, okay? And that's a big gun, or whatever gun they said, a Mauser or whatever. I don't know. I have no clue what that gun is. It's Mauser something, I forgot. But the barrel and dismantling that type of gun, I read, is very difficult, and it wouldn't be the thing it wouldn't make sense to do. But in the footage, in the very limited footage that we have so far, we see him in an outfit that was different from what he shot in, because he said, I guess he had tactical gear. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they have footage of him in a different outfit. So he would have had to go up there, change, shoot Charlie Kirk, come back down, and we don't see a gun in his hand when he's jumping off. So apparently it's either in his pant leg, like they said it was when he was walking up, because they said as he's walking up, you couldn't see the gun either, but it stated it was in his pant leg, which is, possible. You would have been walking with a gun, though, my dude, walking with a limp, as the rappers would say. And so that's possible. Okay, then he gets on the roof, changes, does all this shit, shoots Charlie Kirk, and then we see him jump off the roof again with no gun in his hand. So either it's back in his pant leg, which is just bullshit. You're not jumping off that roof, then running, and then stashing it. There's no way. If you couldn't, you can't. There's no way you're running with 30-06 in your fucking pant legs, bro. Dude. Nice old horse stick in your leg. That's crazy to think that he could do that. Okay, so maybe, like they're stating now, that he dismantled the gun, but that gun, whichever one he was using, they've broken it down to where it's a pretty difficult gun to break down, especially quick and smoothly, we'll say. It takes some attention to do that. So I don't know how he would dismantle the gun, put it in his backpack, then run, put it back together, and then stash it in a towel somewhere for the FBI to find. I guess they said he talked about it on Discord, and I don't believe that for a second, but there doesn't make sense, him being the shooter at the moment, given we don't have any footage of him with the gun in his hand. We have the footage of him climbing around, in different outfits and all this shit and taking off after it. I don't know. Maybe it just seems very odd. Now, we also know that there is footage from someone at the event that recorded another gunman within the crowd. They had a handgun for sure. This is on footage, and it's coming from someone recording on an iPhone, I think. So whether or not that person was concealed carrying and just kind of bringing that gun for his own safety and others around him, maybe, or was that individual involved in some way, shape, or form? Which, I mean, this seems to be like a coordinated. It seems definitely coordinated by some type of intelligence. That's what I would say. It doesn't seem like some fucking retard plan. It seems pretty coordinated, pretty precise. And so I don't think they found who that individual was. I don't think we know who that individual was yet with the handgun. So we know there was a second gunman for sure, because we have that iPhone footage. Now, like I said, Kash Patel and the other goons, the other fucking retard lying goons, apprehended and detained two people who were not the actual suspects, not the right perpetrators. So they fucking got it wrong twice. Now, the one thing is, one of the people that they apprehended and detained and questioned had his like pants down, was like screaming, shoot me right after it, like trying to cause distraction and we're trying to cause the attention to be shifted to him rather than whoever just actually shot Charlie Kirk, who now got away. So they arrest the wrong person. And this person, let me tell you something about this individual they detained. He was there for the 9/11 attacks. He called it in. Okay. He was there for the Boston Marathon bombing. He was calling in terrorist threats as well. And now we see him trying to cause distraction from who the actual shooter was at the Charlie Kirk event. I mean, how the fuck is he at all three of these events? Major events, traumatic events, like, you know, country altering events in a sense, like ones that all get taught in school and are in textbooks and huge events. Okay. It's very rare. It's very odd that this guy's present at all three of these events. And so that's one of the guys. The other person, I forgot, there's another person that was like screaming, shoot me. This might've been the same guy, but there's a second guy too that they detained and ended up releasing as well. So it's hard to believe that, you know, the third time's a charm on this one. And given that it has Patsy written all over it, I have a hard time believing that Tyler Robinson is the shooter. Now, there's another entity in this world. You know, before I go into that, let's talk about where else the shot could have come from. Because you have people saying that blood's coming from the left side of his neck. No, blood's actually coming from the right side. The bullet hole is here. You're saying people are saying the bullet ricocheted off the bulletproof vest into his neck. I don't think he was wearing a bulletproof vest, unless it was white and like very thin, but I don't think he was. People are saying that the bullet actually came from his right and exited through his left, which means that it could have been someone in the crowd to his right, or there's a little stairway to the right. If you notice, if you watch the video, there's a little like hidden stairway that it looks like a bullet. You can see something right when you hear the noise. You can like almost see the bullet. And that's kind of weird that you can see it come out. Like, we have no footage of like the bullet in the air. We just have the sound and then the wound and then the blood. But you can see something from the stairway to the right, kind of, you almost see like a little gun spark, or like the light or whatever that is caused from the muzzle. I forgot what they call it, like a muzzle explosion. So you see I don't know if it could be an altered video too, so this could be wrong, but you definitely see like a bullet looking thing come out of that stairway to the right of him. Now, it could have been someone in the crowd to the right of him as well, like I said. It also, I mean, this is a little out there, but it could have been one of the people working for his security detail to his right as well. Because you had those hand signals, then you had that guy in the blue shirt that has his arms crossed. It looks like he could be holding something, and he doesn't react like everyone else. He puts something in his pocket when it happens, and then goes right to Charlie. Now, I have no clue. Maybe it came from the left side. I have no clue because there's so many altered videos at this point that I don't know if they're original and I don't know if they can be trusted. And when you're talking about like frame rates and pixels, that can be distorted if you don't have a good quality video. And it could look like the bullet hole can be anywhere because it's just not good. It's blurry. And so that's why I think people thought it might have ricocheted off a bulletproof vest. But I don't think so. But there's all kinds of theories about where this bullet and gunman could have been. It could have been where Tyler Robinson was. Might have not been him. I don't think so. But it could have came from that area. It could have came from the right as well. And the weird thing you notice is when it happens and his security team grabs him and takes him to the SUV, why isn't there an ambulance on site? There's usually an on-site ambulance at every event like this. Any major event, there's an ambulance just in case. Every time there is. Why wasn't there an ambulance on site ready to go? They put him in the SUV and, well, took him to wherever they did. There's multiple accounts of where they took him. I have no fucking clue. It's a little odd that there's no ambulance on site and they took him in the SUV his security detail did. Now, there was a private jet that, we'll read this real quick. So, there was a private jet that was seen I'm going to butcher it if I don't look it up. That was in the area that's tied to a Jewish individual who owns it and a company that is pretty sketchy that hasn't been flown, I don't think, in a while. I don't know how they know all this, but immediately after it took off, you couldn't track the private jet on the flight radars. And that's very illegal and very odd given that it was very close to where everything was going on. So all right, so all right. This is from True History of Zionism on X. That's a crazy coincidence. Private jet does some weird shit near scene where Kirk was shot. I decided to dig in a little. Jet was owned by Derek Maxfield, associated with Baugh Institute, owned by Casey Baugh. Last pic was pulled from Baugh's Instagram, which is him, being incredibly grateful to Rabbi Penny Ninswich for inviting me to join in celebrating Yom Kippur, the holiest day in Judaism. So yeah, there's Israel connections here, and we're going to get into the Israel connections right after we talk about this private jet. But this private jet, under the tail number N888KG, left Provo Airport an hour after the shooting. Suspiciously, 30 minutes into the flight, it drops off of ADSB illegally and reappears headed back to Provo approximately an hour later. So they turned off the radar. That's really fucking weird. So they're saying this is a suspected Charlie Kirk killer getaway jet, and it's owned by Chabad Lubavitch, or by a Chabad Lubavitch donor. The private jet took off after the shooting and then disabled its location monitoring system. The jet is owned by Derek Maxfield, a wealthy donor to Chabad Lubavitch of Utah. who knows where that jet went when it was turned, when the radar was turned off. They did some math on it, and it could have done something like 300 to 400 miles, which means it could have got to Arizona and done something there. I don't know, though. Let's see. Yeah, so that's just a very weird thing that this plane would illegally turn its radar off, not allowing it to be tracked right after the shooting, in which seemed like a coordinated, very precise intelligence operation. And, well, they would have a very precise and coordinated getaway, and this could explain it. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that. But we will, I don't know if we'll get more information on that, but it's tied to Israel, which we'll go into next, the other entity that could be responsible for this whole entire thing. And yeah, I know people get pissed off and they go, it's the fucking tranny. It's the fucking tranny lover. It's the furry fucker. You know, and yeah, as easy as it is to blame that group, and maybe it was who they say it was, and maybe it does have tranny ties, but I just don't buy it. It's just so weird that what they were talking about right before he got shot was gun violence and like essentially tranny gun violence and gang gun violence, and he gets shot right there. This was the second speaker that he was talking to. Why didn't they just shoot him during the first speaker that went on for like 10 minutes? I hate to say it, but the speaker we know that he was talking to is Jewish and went on Channel 5 News to fucking, I don't know, acquire sympathy from the public because he was the last fucking faggot to talk to Charlie Kirk. The dude's a fucking flamer, okay? And it's really weird given what you guys were talking about and given the outcome of that situation. And it's also weird that the shooter just didn't shoot him during the first speaker. It doesn't make any sense. So that's one thing, leading me to think that Israel might have had some play or some part in this, assassination, which also we know that there is a wing of their intelligence. So there's an arm, let's say, of their intelligence that specifically specializes in assassinations. We know, there's so many confirmed assassinations carried out by Israel. We know that. And given what they were talking about and given how many violent acts have been carried out by trannies, it's easy to blame them immediately and look away from the other group. So let's get into this. Let's get into this anti-Semitism. Okay, this is anti-Semitism in most people's eyes right now, or most government officials' eyes. This is anti-Semitic to bring these things up. But also, Marco Rubio, who just went to the Wailing Wall in Israel to meet Netanyahu and become compromised and, to sell his soul and get on his knees and gargle Netanyahu's balls. That's also sketchy as well. Marco Rubio is, just a scumbag for this, and all the fucking officials that go over there and do this whole ritual with the Wailing Wall and Netanyahu. It's almost like a humiliation ritual, especially if you're a Christian. And it's also just very suspicious that all of the most corrupt, scummy motherfuckers are over there doing this ritual with Netanyahu or whoever's running Israel. And, it just makes you think, like, why are you guys doing this? And why are you guys publicly doing it? And why didn't Charlie Kirk do it? You never saw Charlie Kirk go and, kiss that wall. Maybe he did way in the past when he was kind of brainwashed about Israel, but now he was coming out about them more and more and more over the past couple of years. Netanyahu had even invited Charlie Kirk to Israel prior to this, which he declined. He did not want any part in that. And we also know that he was Well, before we go on, Marco Rubio also during this event, so much shit was going on. So here, let's go. All right, so Charlie Kirk was assassinated on 9/10, so September 10th, and this comes from Ryan Dawson on X. Guy's a savage. So since then, since the assassination, the government has blocked the Epstein file release. They have passed the amendment that bans Pentagon from boycotting Israel. They proposed a bill for Rubio, Marco Rubio, the guy who just traveled to do the Wailing Wall ritual to Israel. He proposed a bill to revoke passports for Israel critics. The House approves $650 million plus for Israelis missile defense, and Marco Rubio, like I said, visits Israel. Okay, what the fuck is that? So all this shit's going on. You're blocking the fucking, just think about that. During this assassination, they thought it a good time to block the release of the files of all of our politicians and whatnot diddling kids. Okay, they blocked the fucking Epstein file release, and that's disgusting. During this, I don't know if they used it as a distraction. I think they knocked two birds with one stone. One being taking out a conservative activist, as they call him, Charlie Kirk, who is now who still supported Israel, who is still it's not his priority. He's an American and a Christian, but he did support Israel in their wars. But it had gone too far, and he started to ask a little bit of questions, as a normal person, critical thinking person should do. So it's just really weird that they, did a bunch of other shit on the side of this that would directly help Israel, and killing him does something as well. I mean, if you think about Charlie Kirk and his base and his demographic, it's going to be young military-aged men, okay? Netanyahu is fighting war after war after war after war because it keeps him in office. It keeps him in control. And so as their greatest ally, not only Netanyahu, but I'm sure a bunch of our officials think we may need to send our troops and our men to help fight some of these wars. What demographic would that be? Charlie Kirk's demographic, who before was not criticizing Israel. So they loved it. But once he started criticizing and asking questions about Israel, his base started doing the same thing. And if his base started doing that, they would have come to the conclusion that Israel is not worthy to fight for, and it's not morally right to fight for Israel as well. Therefore, they're going to lose that support. Israel would. So taking them out was the better choice. All right, so let's go. All right, so here's another thing, and this comes from Jackson Hinkle on X. Every Israeli connection to Charlie Kirk's assassination so far. He was groomed by Israel as a teenager. He was Israel's top non-Jewish loyalist. He starts mildly criticizing Israel. He said Epstein was Mossad. He said no Iran war on behalf of Israel. And funny thing about that, he was in a meeting with Trump and other officials, and he had voiced his opinion to Trump that it is not a good idea to go into Iran and support Israel in that war with Iran. And Trump literally, like they say, barked at him, yelled at him, told him to pretty much shut his fucking mouth and stay in his lane. So that's also very odd. He said no Iran war on behalf of Israel. He lobbied Trump against Iran war. Trump barked back at him over Iran. He said Israel had full control of Trump. He referred to Netanyahu as a bully. He feared Israel would kill him. Harrison Smith posted about Kirk's fear, which was someone very close to Kirk had told Harrison Smith from InfoWars that Charlie Kirk had voiced that if he speaks out about Israel, he thinks they're going to kill him, which could also be why he didn't debate Nick Fuentes, who's very anti-Israel. And everyone was shitting on Kirk, saying he's a pussy and scared of the debate. But maybe he was worried about his life if he had an honest conversation about Israel with Nick Fuentes, which would be very, very anti-Israel, given, if you know who Nick Fuentes is, given who he is. Netanyahu requests Charlie visit Israel. Netanyahu offers Turning Point a huge funding offer. He refused Netanyahu's funding offer. He became disgusted with Netanyahu. He let anti-Zionists speak at his events. Zionist media starts attacking him. Zionist donors threaten to defund Turning Point. Zionist donors demand Kirk ban Tucker. Donors cut him off and launch attacks. Loomer says Kirk backstabbed Trump. Zionist FBI director fires chief of Utah FBI. What? That's weird. He has anti-Israel interview with Shapiro. Shapiro attacks Kirk on Mark Levin. He has combative meeting with Israeli rabbi. Before September 10th, unusual people visited the shooter. The visitors had out-of-state license plates. The visitors did not give off a good vibe. Charlie shot in jugular from 200 yards away. Unidentified man runs in crowd with pistol. Police arrest Patsy claiming to be shooter. Patsy yells, "Shoot me," during arrest. 9/11 propaganda video surfaces of Patsy, like I said earlier. He was also at the Boston Marathon. Actual shooter flees without a trace. Netanyahu tweets within minutes. Israeli media first to confirm Charlie's death. Private jet takes off 12 minutes away. Private jet disables location monitoring. Jet is owned by Shabbat Lubavitch donor. Netanyahu post about Charlie's Israel trip. FBI says foreign intel assisting investigation. FBI claims they have photos of shooter. FBI claims shooter wore tactical gear. Assembled gun found in wooded area. No photos exist of shooter with the gun. No photos exist of shooter in tactical gear. Zionists go on social media blitz about Kirk. Netanyahu goes on media blitz about Kirk. Netanyahu says Islamist behind the shooting. So Netanyahu says an Islamist is behind the shooting. Netanyahu says Israel didn't kill Kirk. Netanyahu reads Kirk's pro-Israel letter. Candace says the letter was faked. Candace calls on Netanyahu to publish the letter. Tucker says Charlie was at war with Israel. Cernovich, which is a journalist, says Kirk was at war with donors. Gray Zone, which is Max Blumenthal, drops article with Trump Insider. Insider confirms Kirk's war with Israel. Insider confirms Trump's fearful of Israel. Insider confirms Mossad spying on Trump. Trump insiders don't buy official FBI story. Trump insiders say outside forces killed Kirk. So that's a bunch of connections to Israel. I'm just saying. Very, very odd. And when you read Netanyahu's tweet about Kirk, here, pull it up real quick. All right. Charlie, this is what he said on the 10th of September at 2:20 p.m. Charlie Kirk was murdered for speaking truth and defending freedom, a lion-hearted friend of Israel. He fought the lies and stood tall for Judeo-Christian civilization. I spoke to him only 2 weeks ago and invited him to Israel. Sadly, that will not take place. We lost an incredible human being. His boundless pride in America and his valiant belief in free speech will leave a lasting impact. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Given Charlie Kirk had started questioning, the morale of Israel and kind of criticizing Israel as well, it's very odd that, if you've looked into what Israel's doing and all the bullshit they've been involved in, it's right to ask questions and it's right to criticize them. And it's someone that is trying to find the truth, whether or not you fall in that Israel critic category. And so when you read the first line of this tweet, It's very odd. Charlie Kirk was murdered for speaking truth. What are you trying to say there, Netanyahu? Truth about who? So, Netanyahu might not be lying right now. He was murdered for telling the truth, whether we did it or not. It's just a weird, eerie thing to read from Netanyahu. All right, so then we go to the Gray Zone, which is a independent news and investigative journalism organization, and it's run by Max Blumenthal, who went on Tim Dillon a couple days ago, and he spoke to Tim Dillon about these concerns Charlie Kirk had for Israel, as well as other insiders in the Trump administration and their concerns about Israel's, threats. So let's go here. I'm not going to read the whole article. You can also listen to the Tim Dillon show with Max Blumenthal. But this is Max Blumenthal and Anya Parampil, who wrote this on September 12th, 2025. So the title of the article, which is from thegrayzone.com, is Charlie Kirk refused a Netanyahu funding offer, was frightened by pro-Israel forces before death, friend reveals. And the guy from InfoWars that also had someone tell him about a friend of Kirk's stating these same types of things was a totally different source. So Kirk had multiple friends close to him that were aware of his concerns for Israel's retaliation against his questioning and critics. So a Trump insider and longtime friend of Charlie Kirk tells the Gray Zone how the assassinated conservative leader's turning point on Israel. Hold on, let me start this over. My bad. A Trump insider and longtime friend of Charlie Kirk tells the Gray Zone how the assassinated conservative leader's turning point on Israeli influence provoked a private backlash from Netanyahu's allies that left him angry and afraid. The source said anxiety spread within the Trump administration after an apparent Israeli spying operation was uncovered. So, yeah, we have Charlie Kirk rejecting an offer earlier this year from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to arrange a massive new infusion of Zionist money into Turning Point USA. The source told Gray Zone that the late pro-Trump influencer believed Netanyahu was trying to cow him into silence as he began to publicly question Israel's overwhelming influence in Washington and demanded more space to criticize it. In the weeks leading up to September 10th, Kirk had come to loathe the Israeli leader, regarding to him as a bully. According to Kirk's friend, who also enjoyed access to President Donald Trump and his inner circle, Kirk strongly warned Trump last June against bombing Iran on Israel's behalf. Charlie was the only person who did that, they said, recalling how Trump barked at him in response and angrily shut him down in conversation. So, this goes on to, it goes on to basically explain what I already went over with all those things that are connected to Israel and the assassination. He was saying Epstein was Mossad, and that should be looked into. He was saying that what's happening in Gaza is ethnic cleansing. He was saying some very, very critical things, rightfully so, about Israel. And, well, Israel didn't like that. But if you want to read the whole article, it's thegrayzone.com. It's going to be Max Blumenthal. Go follow him on Twitter or X, and great journalist. But these are trusted insiders, and not only one that's telling Max Blumenthal, but you have another friend of Kirk's, another insider, another reliable source telling Harrison Smith at InfoWars the same types of shit. So Israel's got fucking tentacles all over this shit, it seems like. And like I said, they're blocking the Epstein file release when this is happening. Israel's getting 650 million plus in missile defense. So many weird things, very, very weird things. And then you have this private jet who knows where the fuck that jet went when it was off the radar. There's no ambulance on site. You have a security detail putting him in an SUV and then leaving. And then you have Ben Shapiro coming out and saying he's going to resume the tours on campus right where Charlie Kirk left him. So basically, Ben Shapiro is now going to be running Turning Point USA and going to pick up on the campus tours where Kirk left off. And it's very odd, right? Because if you are a public speaker like this and a controversial one, I don't know if it'd be the best thing. I know we want to say, oh, we got to be strong for Charlie and continue talking and having these debates on campuses. I know that sounds like the right thing, but it's also like, don't you think that's a little sketchy given what just happened? And I mean, you have families and wives and friends and brothers and sisters. Do you really want to risk them losing you the same way Charlie Kirk went out when you can avoid it and maybe wait a little bit? But no, Ben Shapiro thinks it's the right thing to do. And he wants to keep continuing to have these debates on campus. And he wants to pick up where Charlie Kirk left off. He said something like, we're going to pick up where Charlie left that bloody microphone. And he's also going to now run Turning Point USA. Well, I hate to say it, a Zionist Jew like Ben Shapiro is now going to be running Turning Point USA, who just denied funding and a trip to Israel. And also, the leader, Charlie Kirk, was concerned about the threat of Israel if you criticize them. And now we have a Zionist Jew, Ben Shapiro, who has never stated publicly if he's more loyal to the Jewish country, Israel, or the country he resides in, America. He's never stated that. But he's going to take over Charlie Kirk's whole operation. And given that, I mean, apparently some tranny fucking individual, some tranny loving furry fucking individual killed Charlie Kirk, and you think it's safe for you to now go and who has, you know, similar views, without the Israel criticism, you think it's smart to go and put yourself in danger? But it's like, are you really in danger if the shooter wasn't the person they told us it is? What if it was our greatest ally that actually carried this out? Then it's not dangerous at all for Ben Shapiro to pick up where Charlie Kirk left off and do these campus tours and have these debates and get the young military-aged demographic behind Israel. It wouldn't be dangerous at all if Israel was the assassin because, well, Ben Shapiro's a Zionist Jew. It's perfect for what Netanyahu wanted, but Charlie Kirk would not accept. So that's another thing. Ben Shapiro's a fucking rat fuck. His sister's got some big old cans, though. All right, and then let's see. All right, yeah, we got some more I guess we can talk about, and then we'll come to an end. Maybe we'll end it with some other shit. But there's like a lot of missing footage that we don't have at the moment as well surrounding this whole situation. Like Ryan Matta, Matta, you can find him on X. He's made some phenomenal documentaries. He does great work. He really dove deep into like the security footage issue and why there's so much missing footage when we know that they had cameras that would have seen every single angle regarding how Tyler Robinson kind of carried out this whole situation. And I think he looked it deep into it. You know, he has the public helping him with all this journalism as well. So you have people that are specialized in security footage and CCTV and all the newest type of technology regarding that. So he went into the rabbit hole and he found out that, well, on average, if you have like this amount, which is, I think it was somewhere in the range of maybe 30,000 students. I forgot how much he said, but on average, if you have around that, you should have 1,800 cameras on the campus. And when you look at how many students that are at this Utah university, I think there's 45,000. So they should have more than 2,000 cameras on that campus. And you can't find an accurate amount of cameras for that school, but you can find it for other schools. It's really weird. But given that there should be, based on the average of every other university in the country, there should be at least 1,500 cameras, if not 2,000. And the amount of footage that we've seen does not justify the story they're telling us, because they should have cameras surrounding that area. I guarantee you there are cameras right on the building that he was at that saw him get off or get on, just pretty much captured the whole situation. There should be enough CCTV, like Ryan Matta said, to just put all these other fucking what they call conspiracy theories to rest. They could easily do that. They could literally shut everyone the fuck up, and say, you guys are being anti-Semitic. You guys want to blame Israel for everything. Here's the CCTV footage of the tranny-loving motherfucker. And they haven't done that yet. It's just very odd. It's a very, very odd thing. They should have that footage, and I guarantee you that footage is in the possession of, intelligence or some other government entity. Now, second, Turning Point was also filming and getting their own personal footage for this event. And so if you watch the video or just look at a still picture of right before Kirk is shot, or where he's sitting when he's speaking, all you have to do is look behind him and up, or like it'll be behind him to his right, but looking at Kirk from the crowd, you see to the left behind him, hanging on the back of the tent that's covering him, there's a camera that's obviously recording the event. There's also, if you look in front of Charlie Kirk, to his left, right in front of the crowd, there's another camera capturing the event as well. Now, there's also video of post-assassination, we'll call it, where there's no more people in the stadium. It's just staff and people that were working for Turning Point. And they're kind of cleaning up, and you see an individual, this guy, immediately and this is on camera, someone's recording it on their phone. He grabs the camera that's hanging, that would have been hanging behind Charlie, capturing the event. He grabs it and takes it off. And then the video kind of just stops. And that's very odd. Not only is that illegal, because that's tampering with evidence, that's a crime scene right there, and they just took the fucking footage of it. Not only is that illegal, it's also like, well, now this is more sketchy. Were people around Charlie Kirk, his security, his team, Turning Point, were they working with someone else to play a part in this assassination? Maybe, I don't know. But why would you release that footage too? Turning Point should give us that footage of both cameras that they had set up to capture the event as well as the CCTV footage that the school should have plenty of, given they should have at least 2,000 cameras. And if they did that, we could really, really find out what happened, where the shooter was, where the bullet came from, how far was the shooter, what kind of gun was it really? You might even capture who the shooter is. I don't know. But until these entities like Turning Point and the university, or whoever has possession of the footage, releases it, they're not going to be able to put these alternative theories to rest. There's no way. And people will keep coming up with new shit. And so it's just going to be propaganda on blast. It's going to be bullshit story after bullshit story, and then conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory, and there's going to be truth to all of it, but it's never going to be the real story of what happened. And they're allowed to lie to us with propaganda because the Smith-Mundt Act, which they're trying to put back into play, which doesn't allow the U.S. government to use the propaganda they use on other countries on its own citizens. But they're allowed to legally use propaganda they use against other countries, against the citizens now. And that started in like 2012. It was put into it was, kind of hidden in this bill that got passed. And so that gave the government, the U.S. government, the ability legally to lie and deceive with propaganda with impunity. And so now it's trending, and they're trying to reinstate this act, but I don't know. And you know who is the president that did that? Good old President Barack Obama. First black pres. Ain't that nice? But yeah, Barack Obama is the one that was responsible for this bill being passed, where the U.S. government can legally lie and deceive their public. Crazy. So that, I don't know if we're ever going to get the real story. And, you'll only have bits and pieces to kind of build your own personal theory on what you think happened. And these theories could be put to rest. This case could be closed within days if the CCTV footage and the Turning Point footage would be released. Yeah, so we'll see. Yeah, I don't know if I have anything else for the assassination situation. I'm sure I'll get back to that as more shit comes out, but we're coming down to the last minutes. There was this meteorite found in Panama, and some type of like creature is now like growing from it. It's really weird. So let's see. All right. So this comes from Columbia1.com. And the title of this by Victor Cohen is Alleged Meteorite with Alien Life Found in Panama Shakes Social Media. And this says, a bizarre story from Panama has been captivating social media users after a local man claimed to have discovered a meteorite from which alien life has been slowly emerging. The user from Pedregal, Panama, known as @KinPanama on TikTok, began posting videos on August 29th documenting the strange growth. In his footage, what appears at first to be a rock slowly develops a gelatinous greenish yellow substance resembling algae before transforming into a darker, more elaborate structure that resembles Marvel's Venom. Alleged Panama alien meteorite shakes social media. In the first video, the user presents the alleged meteorite, calling it an interplanetary visitor, which he interprets as a major first for Panama. After a few days, the entity changes, producing a viscous substance resembling algae, and this in less than 72 hours. According to the Panama Man, the alleged alien meteorite smells like burning, and the smell keeps getting stronger. He says he alerted the local university, but no one has shown up yet. In a video dated 3 days ago, the man shows the object completely covered in black, viscous substance, saying he does not know whether he is facing an animal or a plant entity. So yeah, to give you an idea of what this looks like, it looks like fungal matters like growing out of the meteorite, but now it's turning into something like venom. It's really gross. It almost looks crab-like too. Like it's like growing like limbs. But it kind of like resembles like branches as well. It's like a fucking in between of, you know, like branches and limbs. I don't know what it's a weird looking thing. You're gonna have to look it up. But it's just growing and growing. And I'll get back to the article, but when he first had the meteorite or found it, he put like a leaf on it, and I guess it just completely incinerated the leaf. Just completely, whatever it's made of, radioactive matter or whatnot, it incinerates biological matter. And I don't know what's fueling its growth, but it's probably something radioactive, something to do with radiation. And it's just growing and growing. And it almost it's like moving, and it looks almost as if it's breathing. I don't know. So the videos quickly went viral on platforms such as X and TikTok, with thousands of users debating whether the mysterious object was truly extraterrestrial. Some viewers, both fascinated and disturbed, nicknamed the alleged Panama alien creature Venom, comparing its evolution to a scene out of a science fiction film. Others expressed fear at the idea of an alien organism quietly growing in a Panamanian backyard. But not everyone is convinced this is a case of alien life. Many users argue that what Kin Panama has found is neither a meteorite nor an alien, but rather a striking example of Earth's own biodiversity. Known in English as the devil's fingers or octopus stinkhorn, Clathrus archeri is a fungus that at first resembles a white egg or stone. As it matures, the outer shell splits open, releasing several long red or black tentacle-like arms that give it a grotesque and alien appearance. Oh, that might be this actually then, because that's kind of how I just explained it. The fungus also emits a strong, unpleasant odor, intended to attract flies, which then spreads its spores. It is not edible and is widely considered foul-smelling and unsettling, even by mycologists. Observers noted that the apparent movement captured in the viral videos is not an alien life form breaking free, but rather insects feeding inside the decaying fungus, contributing to its eerie effect. After saying in a video that the relevant authorities came to collect samples to study it, the man published a video showing a full-grown entity. Yeah, that shit is crazy. I don't know what the fuck. Yeah, if it's decaying, why would it grow though? Like if bugs are inside of it eating it as it decays, why would it keep growing? That's weird. Others have tried to debunk what they consider a hoax. According to YouTube channel at Biologia Desdecero, Kin Panama reportedly deleted several of his early videos as his story began going viral. The channel points out several inconsistencies, including a video of the alleged meteorite crash in flames. There, this YouTuber says one can spot matches that may have been used to stage a fake crash site. As for the alleged alien entity, the channel suggests it could be a human creation, animated with wires hidden under the table, while the initial meteorite would be a potato painted silver. All right, and here's the last part of it. So, in any case, the Panama meteorite remains the most viral topic on social media, with users speculating whether what was found is AI, CGI, or real alien life. I typically don't believe stuff like this online, but I genuinely think it's real. It doesn't seem like he has tools to make something like this or to make it bigger and bigger. It doesn't look AI either. Reads a comment on TikTok. There's no way y'all believe this story. No government, and this is quotes. So, quote, there's no way y'all believe this story. No government in the entire world would let him continue documenting this on social media. Reads another comment, with another user answering, quote, girl. So if the government doesn't get involved, it automatically means it's fake. Get real, end quote. In his most recent videos, Kin Panama claims that TikTok is threatening to delete all of his accounts. All of his accounts and leaving followers concerned for the Panama man's safety and the possibility of a real case of alien life being covered up. Yeah, so this is his yeah. So I don't know. You go look at what the thing looks like. It's a scary looking motherfucker. And I just think it's weird. So if you ever watched Three Body Problem on Netflix about, I don't want to give it away, but essentially it's an advanced human civilization, and one that can, travel this. They can, they've developed the ability to space travel and to communicate with other life forms in space. And essentially they find out that there's an alien race headed their way that's going to reach them in a certain amount of time. And whether or not this alien race is going to completely destroy them or cooperate and work together, we don't know. I mean, there's probably going to be another season. But essentially, given the plot of that movie, an alien species that we have communicated with is going to arrive on planet Earth in a certain amount of time, and that we would have to prepare ourselves for that. That is very similar to the story that came out not too long ago about this fucking object that a physicist or astrologer was able to locate in space headed towards Earth that could be here, within the next year. That's predictive programming to the max. That's just straight predictive programming propaganda, Smith-Munt bullshit. But when I think about this thing right here, this fucking alien crab-like fungi thing, I don't know. It makes me think of one of the most popular TV series at the moment, which is called Alien Earth. And it's about all these weird fucking things that, evolve very fast and grow very fast, and kind of look similar to this like black viscous green creature type thing. And it's almost like, what are they trying to do now? It's almost another form of predictive programming, which would be getting us ready for something that's going to happen. But whether or not this actually came from space or it's just a government or human creation, I have no clue. It also could be from Earth. I have zero clue. I don't think it's alien life, though. I think I agree with the people saying that if that was an alien creature, the government would immediately they would probably just kill the dude and take it. Fuck that. They would have that within, within minutes. So I don't know. I think they also would have known the meteorite crashed into Panama. So I think it's a little sketchy. But maybe it is, maybe it's not. I have no clue. But yeah, we're at an hour 5 right now, so that's gonna be it for the day. I'm gonna stay up to date with what's happening with the Charlie Kirk assassination. Any new news that comes out about the shooter that we're told was the actual suspect and perpetrator, I'll keep up with him and see if he cooperates and what we can find out about that. But I'll also keep up with all the other alternative theories about maybe a different shooter, a different location of the shooter, a different gun used, what was up with his private jet, where exactly did they go. One last, I guess the funeral and his wife's post over the following days have not been like too they haven't been too comforting, to say the least. I mean, you don't see his face in the video she takes of the body in the casket. You can only see the hands of Charlie Kirk, apparently Charlie Kirk, which are a weird color given how, given the time frame. I don't really know. This is what I read. The color is off apparently, given the time of when he was supposed to have died and the time being in the casket. That's weird. The hands are also really small, very odd. She has a ring on with a G that gives Freemason vibes, which is odd because Kash Patel also said that they arrested the Tyler Robinson exactly 33 hours after the shooting, 33, and also apparently the flight of I don't know. I was probably wrong on that. There was a flight. It might have been that private jet. How long it would have taken the private jet to get from where it took off to Arizona was like 3.5 hours. Oh, no. It wasn't the private jet. I'm retarded. The time it took Tyler Robinson to drive home after he shot Charlie Kirk was 3.5 hours. 33 again. So it's just so fucking weird. It's like, why do they have to do this to us? But to get back to the funeral, it's the whole situation around the funeral is weird because they would have had to embalm him before he got on the plane to go to Arizona, where JD Vance met them. So he's probably embalmed it at some place that works with high profile people, and then sent to Arizona where they finished everything else. But usually, what I read is that it usually takes somewhere between like 48 and 72 hours before they do this, because they got to give the person doing the autopsy, detectives, and other officials enough time to do a full investigation on the body. So it's really weird that they like embalmed him right away without that full investigation, and then sent him to Arizona where they had this private funeral for Charlie. And his face isn't shown when she takes the video of him in the casket, only his hands, which are off color, don't seem like his hands. It seems a little fake. And then her just behaviors is very odd. If it's a private open casket funeral, why are you even recording anything in the first place and like sitting over him crying? It's really weird. And then you find out that his wife was actually on a reality TV show prior to marrying him, which is just so we know she can fucking act. And then she goes on to start a GoFundMe as if they don't have enough money, asking, people for tens of thousands of dollars, 100,000 even, or just like whatever you'll give, as if she doesn't have enough money already. And people, as if people have that money to give her at the moment, given the state of the fucking country. It's just, that's all really weird to me. I'm going to be honest. It's really fucking weird. And then JD Vance meets them in Arizona for whatever they do for these types of funerals. I don't know what it's called, but he met them for it, and he hosted the Charlie Kirk show today. I haven't watched it. It's just like so fucking weird. It's all so weird. So we'll see. I mean, just like I said, there's no ambulance on site that should have taken him to where he needed to go after he got shot. He was put in an SUV by his security detail and taken to wherever the fuck. We don't know where the fuck they took Charlie after that. That's really odd. And then you had the private jet thing, and then who fucking knows what happened. That's why I'm saying we need that footage, like Ryan Matta says. We need all of the footage from Turning Point and the university. And then we need, I don't know. Other than that, we got to be very we got to take everything with a grain of salt when it comes to his wife, the Trump administration, who, Trump's at a Yankees game later that day. Kash Patel is eating dinner in New York at a high-end restaurant 2 hours after. It's like, who's actually working on this case then? Because it can't be these two fucking dipshits. And I don't know. I'm not believing the whole shooter. Not believing the whole shooter story either. But we'll see. All right. Till next week. I'll see everyone later. Peace.
It is not easy to remove a Mauser barrel or index it after reinstalling and remain accurate. We are not hearing or seeing reality. And by the way, the photo of the rifle allegedly left in the woods has the barrel installed. So we're supposed to believe a guy is on the run after killing Charlie Kirk, and he pauses in the woods to reinstall a barrel, and then he leaves it for us to find, the FBI to find.
Because he was a champion of the Judeo-Christian alliance. He was a staunch friend of Israel.
You know, they're trying to delegitimize the state of Israel. Charlie Kirk said to me that, he wrote me this detailed letter, you have to fight the slander. These untruths, these vilifications have consequences. And he was right. But I'll tell you one thing, we're fighting on the battlefield against the terrorists and winning. And he was fighting on the battlefield of ideas. And I think he was winning. He was going to win. That's why they shot him. I hope they don't silence him. I don't think people will give in to these ridiculous, ridiculous lies.
Charlie's voice is not silent. We're going to pick up that blood-stained microphone where Charlie left it. And to those who would intimidate, who would seek to stop us, who would seek to end free discussion, who believe that they have ownership over public spaces and can violently threaten and kill people who speak freely, we are not going to stop, and I have two words. Fuck you.
Wrote a note, or Tyler allegedly wrote a note about this plan that he sent to a friend, and it just so happened to include details about a gun left in a towel, which we can't figure out how he got off the roof with the gun, because we've seen him walking with the gun, and it was in his pant leg, allegedly, with a giant scope on it, which I guess probably wouldn't fit in a pant leg, but we'll forget all about that and pretend like it was in the pant leg. But then he's in a certain outfit that the FBI released photos of. He climbs onto the roof and then takes clothes out of his backpack, changes into those clothes, assassinates Charlie Kirk, changes back out of those clothes, and then magically puts those clothes in a backpack, jumps off the roof with the rifle in his pants, and then magically runs away with the rifle in his pants. But if you watch the video of him running before or walking, he couldn't run with that. It was all the way up, it would have been all the way up to his waistband.
I know I shouldn't do this. I'm risking an awful lot to go up against this FBI, MAGA FBI. Something is very wrong with what I just heard. I mean, I watched it. I was hoping that they had caught the bastard who shot Charlie. So we saw video of a person jumping off the roof. Very legitimate to me. However, there was no rifle in his hand.
They can shut down the internet since we're all tomorrow, but they can't stop us in the streets. We love you, Charlie. We love your family. We're so proud of you. Think about these bastards. The corporate media covers everything up. They love it. They love death. They scum. We're going to get them. We're going to save this country and the world together. Because people like Charlie Kirk's curse. We love you, Charlie. God bless you.
Animal. You're like a whore, kept in a brush. Sean Hannity, you've always been a whore in a brush. You have hit a new low, Hannity. And
So just hours after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, on live TV, and we all watching him, the bullet to the video, blood gushing out. We were sick to our stomachs. We couldn't eat. We couldn't sleep. But yet Cash Patel is out whining him, dining himself 2 hours later at an upscale restaurant in New York.
That some of the largest financiers of left-wing, anti-white causes have been Jewish Americans.
I have a question. Why are Ed and Brian Krasenstein supposedly following the very, very tiny 164 follower TikTok account of the trans dude that Tyler Robinson was living with and in a relationship with?
I gotta be careful the way I say this. They're gonna try to ethnically cleanse Gaza. I mean, I don't use that term lightly, okay? They're talking about basically removing 2.5 million people from there, okay? And honestly, they have a mandate to go seek justice and revenge. They do. This idea that they need to have a truce or a peace treaty, that's morally crap after you see women and children be burned alive and dragged to the streets. But there are some serious questions here, Patrick. And let me tell you, my pattern recognition over the last 5 years has become pretty sharp. COVID, Maui fires, Epstein. When I see a story and it doesn't click, our guts are usually right.